Welcome to another edition of Chai with Molly, a show where we celebrate diversity the Canadian way. Kenya, a prominent African nation, has been in the news recently for all the wrong reasons. 4 young terrorists on a suicide mission shot and killed 147 students in cold blood for their faith. This catastrophe came at a time when Kenya was on the verge of an incredible economic expansion. The air was replete with optimism and hope, but then came tragedy like a thief in the night. This calamity has plunged the entire African continent into mourning. What does this tragedy mean for Kenya, and how this incident will shape the future of this great nation? We have in our studio a Canadian who was born in Kenya. He will help us understand this disaster. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sunil Kapur to the studio. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Molly. What a joy.
All right. Thank you for coming. And what we would like you to share with us is your response to this recent tragedy that took place in your native country, Kenya.
Well, as you can see, I look very brown.
Yes.
And Indian.
Yes.
And so how does it become my native country? Just to give you a little background, my forefathers left India, Lahore at that time, in 1898.
Which was part of India.
Yeah, it was India, 1898. And so they moved to East Africa. They were actually coming to Canada or America, but their dhow got spoiled. So 100 years later, I came to Canada and fulfilled his vision. But, you know, now when you say Kenyan, you know, yes, I am Kenyan, but in Kenya, I'm not called Kenyan. In India, I'm not called Indian. But in Canada, I'm called Canadian. So that's the beauty of Canada, and yes. I love to be here. But still, my heart is in Kenya. Kenya is home. That's where I was born and brought up. My parents were born and brought up there. Amazing things happened. There's a lot of history. The man-eating lions of Kenya, the Savo, while we built the railway, all that, and how we struggled to bring that country up. Because it was the Kenyans' first currency was the Indian rupee.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Amazing.
Okay.
So Kenya thrived in all that. Kenya, Uganda, of course, Uganda, a lot of things happened after Idi Amin. It was struggling, but Kenya was placed in such a beautiful spot. In Tanzania, it wasn't as thriving as Kenya. The Kenyan Indians really got together with the locals and built the country. And when something like this happens, you know, it tears your heart. Somehow someone has gone so crazy to do what they did, to kill 147 students.
For no rhyme or reason.
For no rhyme or reason.
Yes.
And this is history, is you know, this is not the first time it's happened. You know that the bombings started in 80s. A hotel was bombed. Then the US Embassy, 88. Then just 2013, all of us, I was here in Canada looking at the television and horrendously seeing people being killed.
In the mall.
Did you know in that mall, Westgate Mall, 67 people died. My nephew was sitting there.
Wow.
He was sitting there with his friend who was expecting. And she said, oh, I'm just going to go shopping. You guys wait here.
And she died?
When it happened, she was in there.
Oh, wow.
My nephew and his friend left. You know, these are coming closer and closer, these kind of issues. And we need to address them. Each one of us needs to look into our own lives and say, how can we make differences? And we'll talk about that later. But right now, what happened in Kenya? Kenya, a place where a lot of massacres happened, right? A place
now, Kenyans,
which was horrendous.
By nature, are not violent.
No,
They're peace-loving people.
Kenyans are very peace-loving people. I've lived with them, right? But what has happened is because it's so strategically placed, because it's kind of the pearl piece of Africa, there are a lot of eyes on it. And a lot of people are very jealous and they want to destroy Kenya.
Yeah, that's what we would like to understand. What makes Kenya this unique target? It almost appears that it's been targeted.
Well, where this all happened actually was right in the north of Kenya, Garissa. It's kind of a deserty area. And it's surrounded by a lot of people who have problems in their country, Sudan and Somalia. Somalia is kind of the hub of the Al-Shabaab, the Al-Qaeda movements. The Western nations want Kenya to help them to dismantle all that. And so they support, fund, whatever, I don't know. But then the Kenyan armies go into those areas and try to dismantle these elements that are trying to destroy, right? So they're not trying to do anything bad. They're not going against a religion or anything, but they're trying to destroy the people who are trying to just loot and rape and murder and kill. So what happens is people go in there, the army goes in there, and they are power. They have a lot of equipment and everything. But those elements can't destroy the army. So what they come to do is, sad to say, to retaliate in the malls, in the schools, in the colleges, in where there is innocent people.
Yeah, innocent people.
Why kill? I mean, you can't be religious to do something like that.
Yeah, it can't.
You can't be.
Cannot be.
There is no religion, I believe, that says go and kill people like that innocently. No, because some were Somalis, some were Kenyans, some were Christians, you can't do that. And so, my heart's cry is that the nations of the world would wake up, because they didn't. Something small happens in a Western nation, everybody says hoo-ha. Here, is 147 just a number?
Yeah.
Is 147, I get very perturbed with that. When people die in India, 300 people died in India. When somebody dies in our countries here, 3 people died. Oh, 3 people died. No, what are we going to do? Because these are innocent people. These were students who were
getting an education.
The backbone of families. Their parents had sacrificed everything to get them to become doctors, lawyers, teachers, all those kind of things. Okay, those families will suffer. Guess what? Even Kenya will suffer as a nation. The world will suffer.
Absolutely.
147 people killed. You think the world won't have an impact? It will.
It is.
It will.
Impacting.
And it will. But this is what happened. This is reality, and we've got to see that. But then the other side of the reality, people say Islam, Muslims, those were Muslims who gave blood.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to bring.
If
they
we believe,
connected to them as fellow Kenyans, as fellow human beings.
They were resonating with them. They were hurt themselves. They were standing there and saying, this is terrorism. It's not religion. It is terrorism, and it's not wanted in our country.
That's right.
Because they know they will have the impact. And then there was, this man who is wanted. 20 million shillings is on his head, Muhammad Mahmoud. Now, I want us to pray for him because he needs peace in his heart. He is not at peace. That's why he's doing this, whatever he's doing. Because once the peace of God comes into our heart, we change. We are not destructive. We're not like that. And we should thank the Muslim community in Kenya who did what they did. I saw them in some other pictures. I saw them actually giving out.
They are the neighbors, right? Yeah. They're your friends, they're your relatives, they are your customers, they're your suppliers, right? So you interact with these people on a regular basis. Now, We had spoken to someone regarding Nigeria, because we know
Right.
that just as these students were
Yes.
killed in Nigeria, there were
Right.
200 plus girls who were abducted in the middle of the
Right,
night.
right.
And what we were made to understand is those girls are still missing.
Yes.
And we
Well,
were made to understand
yes.
that the reason why the previous president
Yes.
did not bring them back, because there was no political will.
Right.
Now, give us an understanding of the current president in
Right.
Kenya. What
Yes.
do you think his response should be, or what do you think
Yeah.
he's going to be doing? Will he be able to bring back
Well,
the stability
Yes.
in the country?
He's not an ignorant man, let me first put it that way. He is the son of the father of Kenya,
Okay.
President Jomo Kenyatta, who was an amazing man, right? He did a lot to bring Kenya to where it was. And there is other issues too, but Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the
Current president
of Kenya, he did send in, retaliation forces after this happened. A lot has been said. There were 680 odd students in the campus, and only 147 died. You can't say that, because it's so heart-wrenching. Why did 147 die?
Exactly.
Why wasn't there enough security in those places, right? And that's one of the first things he needs to do, I believe, right, from my heart, is to bring in security in all these places. I know that they're trying to do it there, but I think he needs to do it in Kenya itself. Just the other day, my mom, who lives in Kenya, who lives in Nairobi, she was standing outside her house in the evening, broad daylight, and she was robbed, right, at a gunpoint. When that sort of a thing happens, right, you know that there is a lot of insecurity, there is a lot of poverty. It's happening because of poverty. It's happening, so the president needs to bring up the infrastructure. He needs to create employment so that people don't become thieves. Once my mom was robbed and the thief prayed for her. He said, "Mama, I'm sorry I'm doing this to you, but my own mother is sick, so I have to do this to you." So sometimes, you think of those type of things and it amazes you. We come from countries where you just don't open the water and water comes, right? We come from countries where there's no water, there's no electricity, there's no food, people are dying. Fine, we can blame the presidents of Africa, but where is the world? We have more food for pets in our pet stores than we have food for people in these places.
No, but the first initial responsibility of any nation, in all fairness, lies with the local governments.
Right.
These are sovereign nations, right? They need to introduce policies that can encourage employment, that can encourage trade. And for that they need to provide, stability in the country.
That's exactly what they should be doing. And I think then the outside world, instead of supporting the warfares, should be supporting these type of things.
That's right.
Education, this, that. And, organizations like ours, that's what we try to do. Right now we're trying to...
What you are doing as an organization, or what other nations, Western nations are doing, that can only supplement. Right? But the basics,
of course, when we go into some of these countries,
because
they don't do what we want them to do.
It's a little slippery slope when we start to blame other people not coming to help. We need to take care of things ourselves first, right? Then others can come along. That still needs to be done. And everybody needs to come together to help. And we don't need anybody going around killing people for no rhyme or reason. And they should be killing anybody, period.
And once we go into Somalia and educate and bring faith and bring hope, I believe those people will change. And they will not, because the rule of the law will not be a gun. The rule of the law would be working together building those. Somalia has been such a challenging nation for so long that it's not even funny. And we have so many Somali people here in Canada.
Well, that's what we did, right? As a nation of Canada, we said, okay, you have,
come here.
we will help you.
Yeah.
So
And
now
it is amazing.
Yes, and they
some
are
of the Somali
living.
people are very good friends of mine, and
Right.
they're
And they're
thriving
doing
here.
well.
They're thriving.
Right now, they can go back and bring about the change in their own nation
And they're
because
not-
they understand the culture, they understand the language, they understand the norms, right? And they have seen that it doesn't have to be that way.
That's exactly what I was coming to. You know, we in the West are afraid of what the Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, and all, right? So we send in fundings and warfares and everything. I think it's time we send in people like what you're saying, who have thrived here, and say, hey, guys, we are prosperous. Our families are safe. This is safe. You know, come, let us help you in your countries. And I think that would be an amazing way to see things happen.
All right, that's a really great recommendation, and
Yes.
I'm sure there are people who are watching who may take you up on this this recommendation. But before we end this important conversation, I would like you to look into the camera and tell this current president, number one, how you feel about what is going on in Kenya, and number two, what should he be doing?
Right. Well, you know, Kenya is my home. It will always be. I'm a Canadian, and I'm proud to be a Canadian. But my family is still in Kenya. And I believe that Kenya is so prosperous. It's such a beautiful nation. And we are thankful to God that He has chosen you as the president of Kenya. But we want security. We don't want our children to be dying. We don't want our families to be destroyed. We don't want our nation to collapse. We have worked hard to be where we are today. I myself have seen Kenya from the 60s and even earlier to be where it is today. So we pray that you will seek God's wisdom first and foremost, and ask Him to lead you so that you can lead the people of Kenya into a peaceful country, to bring about prosperity, to bring about jobs, to bring about just a harmony in Kenya, so that the tourist industry can boom, the other industries can boom as well. The coffee and the tea and amazing things. We don't lack anything in Kenya. What we lack is harmony, peace, oneness. And you, sir, maybe can help us with the guidance of God to get to where we should be, to become the pearl and the peace of Africa. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for being here. Join me in welcoming a real estate expert to the show who's going to tell us why it is important to buy a property versus renting. Welcome to our show, Jay.
Good to be here, Molly.
All right, so there are many people who choose to rent.
Yes.
Okay, there's a huge percentage of people in our city and in the GTA who are renting and have been renting for a very long time.
Yes.
And they don't feel the need to buy a property, right? And some of the concerns that people have is, you know what if I lose a job?
Yes.
If I lose my job, will I lose a house if I was to buy one? So what is your take on that?
Absolutely. Here's my first question. You're renting. You have a job. You don't have you are still renting. You don't have a job. What would you do? Here's my question to the public. Would you stop paying? You'll find a way to pay it. But here's the most important thing. Let's look at this. the chances are, to most of you, you're going to go find another job. There'll be a transitional period. But here's the main thing. Let me ask you a question. Today in Canada, what is the single most item that you can earn on personal ownership that is growing in value that you can earn? And when you sell it, you can walk away without paying a single cent of tax. You know what that is, Molly?
What is that?
That is the equity or capital gain in your own home.
There is no capital gain.
There is no capital gain.
Yeah.
That's my point. The second thing is this. The word 2.2% and 2.69. You know what that is? That's the mortgage rate. 20 years ago, 25 years ago when I began in real estate, it was 12, 14, 16% interest rate. Today, you are looking at a guaranteed mortgage rate, interest rate of 2.69 as low as, depending on your qualification, or 2.22 for a variable mortgage. In many cases, your monthly payment locked in, guaranteed, is less than what you're paying for rent.
Here's the perspective, right? When you are paying rent,
Yes,
you are paying a mortgage.
you are paying somebody else's.
That's right.
That's right.
Because the amount that you're paying on a monthly basis, because rents are not cheap.
That's right.
At least not in GTA,
That's right.
and certainly not in Toronto. When you pay rent and
Yes.
it's a high amount
Yes.
every month,
Yes.
you do pay a mortgage.
Absolutely.
Right? And it is your landlord's. So why not
Why not?
invest in your own self or in your own family?
Absolutely. Let's do this, Molly. Let's take a 5-year scenario. 2015 April to 2020 April. You bought a home today. Over the next 5 years, and you're paying, let's just say you're paying $1,200 a month.
You can't find anything
You
for
can.
$1,200.
Okay. Let's just say for example, right? Okay, let's just say 1,500. Is that more realistic? Okay. So over a year's period, you're paying 18,000 in rent. 18 times 5 in a 5-year period. That's like what is it? 90,000. What? Yeah, you're looking at about $90,000 in a 5-year period. Almost 100,000 you pay to your landlord.
That's right.
Now-
I have nothing to show for.
Exactly. Take the same monthly payment. It could be even less or a little bit more. Take the same payment to your mortgage. 50% of your mortgage in the beginning, and it improves from there, goes towards your principal. Did you know that? In the same 5 years that you've paid, almost half of the amount, a significant amount, will go to pay down your principal. So after 5 years, let's say you choose to go, you have a job overseas, or rent, no problem. The money's in there.
All right. So you are earning money both ways. One, by paying down the mortgage,
Yes.
which is your loan, and also by the prices of real estate going up.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
you're building equity in your property.
That's right.
Both ways.
We haven't even gone there yet. In the last 21 years, and I have the stats on that, give me a call. Even the last 3 to 4 years, they've been growing up 7 to 11% in some cases per year. The increase on an average is 5%. If you hold the 5% average in the last 20 years, it's a pretty safe way to look at the growth of real estate in GTA. Even if it is 5%, in the next 5 years, you would have grown the value in your property at about 25%. Let's cut it down. Let's make it even 10%. Let's just not even use that. You buy a home today for 500,000. I mean, very, very conservative. In 5 years, it's grown 10%. That's 50,000, though it's much more. You paid down anywhere from 30 to 40,000, depending on the value, into your home. Well, you know what? That 50 plus 30, 40, you're looking at about between 80 and $90,000 growth that you've now earned tax-free in your own home.
That's right. That's huge.
That's huge.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so,
Can you beat that?
That's right. On top of it, you have pride of ownership.
Yes, you do.
Right? You have your own home, you can decorate it any which way you like, you can paint it
Yes.
in any color that you like.
Yes.
Right? But if it's a rental property, there are many restrictions. You cannot
That's right.
renovate the property. May I share a story with you?
Please do.
Of this lady who came to
Sure.
purchase a house some time ago. I think you know about her. She was in this great hurry to buy a house, and when I asked her why, what is the urgency, she said that the house that she had been renting for 35 years was sold.
Yes.
And now
I remember that.
right?
Absolutely.
So she,
Never forget
it
her.
takes 25 years to pay off a property, and she rented it for 35 years.
Yes.
Made it her home,
Yes.
did all the renovations, and was really happy. And yet, the landlord, right, when he or she thought it was right time, sold it. And then she was suddenly homeless,
Yes.
right? So you definitely don't want to be one of those people,
You
right?
don't.
You want to be in control of your life. You want to be in control of your finances, right? And you want to be able to build equity,
Absolutely.
right? Because we work so hard for our money, right? It's really difficult to take a certain amount of money, let's say even $1,500 every month, and just give it to somebody.
Yes.
And no doubt each one of us has had to rent. It's okay to rent for some time. We also rented for some time,
Sure.
right? And it's okay, right, for some time, but not to make it a permanent thing, right? So that's what I wanted to talk to you. So if there is somebody who's watching,
Yes.
right, and they're in that place where they're renting and they're thinking that they should change their status from a renter to an owner, what would you like to tell them?
I would say call me now. Call me, because there is a way. Even if you don't buy the home of your dreams today, you buy something that is a stepping stone. Become a homeowner. Financial freedom, that's the word. Home enjoyment, that's the word. Equity build up, that's the word. Pride of ownership, that's the word. Whether it's a home or a condo, I can show you the way. I've got the mortgage people, we've got the lawyers to advise you. I've got the skill of 25 years of real estate to help you to find the right home. If it's not there today, we'll put a plan together. I will help you get the home that you deserve. Call me, 647-273-1119. We're here to help.
All right, so now you know. You have someone who is not only eager
Yes.
and ready to help you, but has immense experience and knowledge to steer you through these difficult and sometimes frightening waters.
It can be.
So call Jay today.
Yes.
He will be more than delighted to
Be
help
glad
you.
to. Be
Thank
glad
you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on the show.
That's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed our show as much as we enjoyed preparing it for you. Tonight, before you go to bed, please do say a prayer for peace in the world. And before I go, let me remind you once again that to be good and kind to a stranger is a good thing.